We put this up last night, article on Infowars.com. Shock cell phone video shows the Lavoy Finicum shooting from inside the video. This video was released by the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office. This is the county sheriff's office that is doing the investigation. They do it in a different a different county whenever it takes place in a neighboring county. They don't have the same sheriff's office investigate this. But let's understand, okay? This is the FBI. This is the state police. These are people who are essentially investigating themselves, okay? This is not a jury of impartial citizens looking at this investigation. This is the government investigating itself and pronouncing itself justified. Justified. And we're going to take a look at this because if you saw our comments last night, you know that when we looked at this, and every time I look at this, it makes me more angry and heartbroken. This is murder. This is our government shooting people down. We've seen this in the inner cities. We've seen it with black people. We've seen it with white people. We've seen it with people in the cities, people in the countryside, okay? Until we all come together, black and white, cowboy and Indian, and stop these abuses. And when I say cowboy and Indian, I mean, really, when you look at what's going on in Arizona with Senator McCain, turning over this land, taking this land that is something that's being used for recreation, but it also has significant historical aspects to the Apache Indians that are there. They're going to destroy this land on which some cowboys, if you want to call them that, ranchers or others have surface rights to. It has multiple uses at this point, but it's going to be turned over to a foreign corporation to mine it for copper in a way that will destroy it for everyone. No recreational use, no historical use, no religious significance for the Indians, no surface rights for the Americans. It'll be a foreign corporation that will mine and destroy this. We have to stand up to this. That is what's behind this issue that these people were protesting. But we also have to stand up to the violence that our government enacts on people of every kind. We have to stand together. We have to say that you're not going to break us into little groups and pit us against each other like the Black Lives Matter issue, okay? This is a real BLM issue. It's a BLM, Bureau of Land Management. It's also transcending the Black Lives Matter propaganda of George Soros and others. And we've had videos and reports where we show you how George Soros is funding that, okay? That is an effort to shut it down. That is an effort to get us fighting amongst ourselves instead of joining together to stop these kind of murders. Now, what I want you to do when you look at this, I don't want you to jump onto social media and start making death threats, okay? If you see this and you understand what is going on and it makes you angry, do not take yourself out of the game. If you're outraged, we need you educated people. Don't go out and shoot somebody in uniform either. Okay, you're going to shoot the wrong person. You're going to shed innocent blood. We don't need to make these killers into heroes. We don't need to justify their actions after the fact. We've got to educate the public. We've got to stop this murder. Let's take a look at this video. I want you to see what happened at the stop. Now, what they did was they took the cell phone video and they superimposed it on this ridiculous video that we'd been given by the FBI. What the FBI gave us was aerial footage at a very low resolution with no sound and a phony lying narrative from the FBI shill who was presenting this. So, you know, when Biggs and I saw this, and the FBI agent, to give you an example of how effective it is, I mean, we should have known better. We looked at this, and it's like, you know, it's a shaky video. It's not streaming well. We got the FBI saying, you know, is approaching the roadblock. The FBI agent says, look at this. He tried to run down our agent. And it's like, oh, look, we could see a guy halfway there. Because it was a jerky video. And then we went back and looked at it. It's like this guy leapt out in front of him. He's swerving off to the side, trying to avoid the roadblock that they put up. And, of course, we're going to talk about the legal aspects of that roadblock. But he's swerving to the side to miss that roadblock. And as he's swerving, the guy jumps out in front of his truck, and he swerves farther to the left. He was not trying to run the guy down. Everything about this was designed as a propaganda lie by the FBI. So now when they say, well, okay, the shooting was justified, but we're going to now investigate some FBI agents who lied about the fact that they didn't shoot any guns, okay? Look, The whole thing was a lie. The whole thing was an ambush. The whole thing was set up to stop a political protest. They were going to talk to 400 people in John Day, Oregon, people who understood what the problems were, people who were going to try to address this peacefully. And I hope they still do. I hope they don't let this scare them into silence. It has to be addressed. These are issues that the sheriff in Grant County, Sheriff Palmer, had stood with the people on. He had deputized people to try to deal with it. Other people in the government shut it down. We need more people like Sheriff Palmer. There are good people in government. Don't start striking out blindly against people. Let's play this. You can see, we're going to play this in a couple of clips. It's very long. It's 12 minutes long. Let's play it where they're stopped, and you can hear their confusion, how they're trying to deal with what they don't understand. They're not being allowed. They were allowed to travel freely back and forth, talking to people, having political meetings, explaining what the problems were. The FBI didn't want that because they were having pressure put on them by the state and the federal officials to shut that down. And they shut it down. They shut it down. Killed and arrested people. Let's show the first stop right here.
Shoot me, you shoot me. I'm going to meet the sheriff. The sheriff is waiting for us. So you do as you damn well please. But I'm not going anywhere. Here I am, right there. Right there.
He's holding his hands out the window.
You understand? I'm going to go meet the sheriff. You back down or you kill me now. Go ahead. Put the bullet through me.
He knows what they're trying to do.
I don't care.
Where's Ryan?
I'm going to go
Now,
meet the sheriff.
Mainstream media says he's taunting them. No, he's telling them, I'm going to go meet the sheriff. I'm going to meet the sheriff. You can either come with me or you can shoot me right now.
What for?
Well, I'm going to ask them if they want to go out.
What for? Why are we getting
You want out?
What for? What are we getting
Who
out?
are you? Yeah, who are you? Who are you?
Saying, who are you? Haven't identified
Who
yourself.
are you?
Oregon State Police.
Okay, well, I'm going over to meet the sheriff in Grant County. You can come along with us, and you can talk with us over there. You can go ahead and shoot me. Put the laser right there, put the bullet through the head.
And as he's doing this, you can see the red dots inside the cabin of the truck. They're already training and pointing their guns at them.
Get real. You want my blood on your hands? Get
That's
a
assault,
gun,
folks, with a deadly weapon.
And places to go.
Okay. Now, we're going to pick this up, and we're going to, at one point, he says, all right, we're going to go. They talk about it amongst themselves. They say, let's just go. Let's try to get to the sheriff in Grant County. The sheriff was going to be at that meeting of 400 people. He was going to be addressing them. So they drive off. Now, I want you to see what happens next. Before I do that, I want to read you something that came from Oath Keepers after the fact. This was something Stuart Rhodes interviewed Greg McWhirter, a veteran SWAT officer, an Oath Keeper. And we've also had a video. We looked for this video, couldn't find it before showtime. We've had another officer who put a video up, and he said, you don't set up a roadblock like this because that is, in and of itself, is a use of deadly force. And so in this interview with Stuart Rhodes, this officer, who is another veteran police officer, quotes the law here. He says, vehicle pursuits. This is a Portland Police Department's policy. This is Oregon State Police policy that he quotes here. 630.05, vehicle pursuits. Barricading. Barricading is considered deadly physical force, subject to Directive 1010.10. Barricading requires the approval of a supervisor. Furthermore, the barricade must be set up in such a manner as to avoid the fleeing suspect, to afford the fleeing suspect ample time to see the barricade to stop his or her vehicle. They put it around a curve, and you can see this. Boxing in, ramming, and roadblocks, boxing in and ramming to be used only against violent felons, with permission by sworn supervisor monitoring the pursuit, not to be used by officers who have not completed prescribed training. Roadblocks are dangerous and difficult to properly establish. No roadblock may be established until both dispatcher and pursuing officer have been notified. There are three kinds of roadblocks: fixed, which a block road to extent that little or no outlet remains. A fixed roadblocks are extremely dangerous and are rarely justifiable, and that's what we have here. That is quoting Oregon State Police policy, which they violated in this particular situation. As the other officer in his analysis of this said, they know who these people were. They know they're not violent. They talked to them for probably 10 minutes. They could see them holding their hands out. Nothing was done that would indicate that they were violent. Okay? They knew who they were. They knew where they were going. And there was absolutely no reason for them to use deadly force. And the blockade itself was deadly force. But they didn't just stop there. Let's roll this video, and you can see that as they're pulling up to the roadblock, they're approaching the roadblock, and the police and the FBI start shooting at them as they're approaching the roadblock. It got that bad. Let's show that video.
Okay, I don't know about numbers.
Well, I got numbers, but I can't call because we have no service.
Okay.
Yeah, they set it up there where you've got no service.
Do you have numbers for people here in town?
Yeah, but
Hang on.
Okay, they're shooting.
Hang on.
Come right around the video. Come right around the curve, and they do that.
Okay, we're here.
Go ahead and shoot me.
Damn! Trying to.
Go ahead and shoot me.
Stay down, stay down. Stay down. Stay down.
Now,
Stay down.
as they're saying, stay down. Hold it right there. Hold it right there. Okay, I was talking. You couldn't hear the gunshots. You can hear, if you watch the video, you can hear the gunshots as they're approaching the barricade. When you look at that video, he says, go ahead and shoot me. He got out of the car right away because they had already been shooting at him, okay? He's trying to draw fire away from the people in the car, I believe. That's what his family and the people who knew him believe. He was that kind of guy. He was that kind of guy. He died for your freedoms. Now, as he's getting out of the car with his hands raised, you can see them shooting out the windows, shooting at him, okay? I don't know if they shot him at that point. They say that all the shots were in his back, in his back. That's our government, our lying, back-shooting government. And we need to change it, not start shooting people, folks. We do not want to become what we fight. That's what we talk about with this torture video. That's what we try to explain to Donald Trump. You do not want to become what you fight. And, of course, he said, look, I'm not going to torture people if it's against the law. He said that on Friday. Then on Sunday, he gets on with John Dickerson, and he says, well, you know, we got a set of rules that are hampering us. They don't play by the rules. And John Dickerson said, so the rules really are what separate us from them, what makes us better than them. And he goes, we have to get to their level. We have to win. No, we cannot think that way. We cannot become what we fight. That is always the danger of a war. And let's understand, this is a war of our government against the American people. There's no doubt about that. But we do not want to become them. If we start resorting to murder and vigilantism, we're going to exchange one kind of tyranny for another. We need to wake people up. The vast majority of people in this country, and you have to understand this, do not share your anger at this. They have to be angry about this. They have to understand what's going on. Black people in the cities are angry about it, but they think that it's just them. They have to understand. Show them this. Tell them you agree with their problems. Tell them that we need to work with ways to shut this down. But before we can do anything, we have to have a consensus. We have to have a larger number of people. And that's one of the lessons of this Oregon standoff. It's not enough to be right. It's not enough to be right. You cannot do something like they did in Oregon with just a couple of people. It was a bad strategy, a bad tactic. They thought they had broader support because they had some shill reporter that was lying to them and provoking them to do this stuff. They did not have the kind of national support that they thought. They thought they could go anywhere and defend people who were being attacked by the government, and Oregon is probably the worst place to take your stand. One of the most statist places that you can go to. We have to use the law that they swear to. They swear to the Constitution. The Constitution is the beard they use to give them the authority that they have. And we have to make it clear that they are the criminals. But we have to get the American people to understand this. And when we look at the articles that are put out by the Washington Post, by the New York Times, the way they slant the news, you have to understand that we're a long way from getting the people to come together and oppose this across the board. This is absolutely amazing. Let me read you some of the articles. Let me read you first what the Oregon Live said. They said an FBI agent is suspected of lying about firing twice at Lavoy Finicum, okay? They say that 2 state troopers shot him 3 times in the back, shows an autopsy. Finicum had a trooper in front of him armed with a taser who was thought to be in danger. And, of course, when we analyzed this with that other officer, he said, here's a car they're using deadly force against, which you would typically, legally, only we just read what the Oregon State Police policy is. You would only use that against fleeing violent felons. Okay, that's not the situation here. They set up deadly force with the roadblock, and then he jumps out as if there's no threat from this vehicle that they have just used deadly force to stop. He jumps out and stands behind that vehicle, exposing himself to being attacked from the vehicle they were just shooting at, the vehicle they just used deadly force to stop. And then once they kill Lavoy Finicum, they retreat back to their covered positions, and they continue to fire at the people in the car. Let's play that video. Let's keep rolling that video.
Okay, we're here.
Go ahead and shoot me.
Damn! Trying to.
Go ahead and shoot me.
Stay down. Stay down. Stay down.
They're saying stay down.
Stay down. Stay down.
Shoot me. You don't have to shoot me.
Damn it. Are they shooting him? Did they shoot him? You Oh my God! Okay. Stay down.
I can't
Is he
get out.
dead? Don't get out. I am Stop it.
Are you hit?
Now they retreat to their positions, and you'll see that they're hitting them with tear gas. They're hitting them. They're shining bullets there. They're shooting at them. You can see the tear gas, the flash bangs going off as they're shooting at them. This goes on for a very long time. You should watch this video. You need to make sure other people watch this video. Now we can see what's going on like we couldn't when the FBI put that video out initially. And they did it that way so that you would not see what's going on. Now they're trying to get rid of the sheriff in Grant County because he called it an ambush. Folks, it was an ambush. It violated Oregon state policy, but now the Oregon police say, oh, it's justified. Justified. We set up the rules. We can break the rules, just like the GOP and the Democrats will do when it comes to their conventions. Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host. I want to continue with this murder of Lavoy Finicum and the attempted murder of the 3 people in that car, because the police continued to shoot at that vehicle for quite some time. Nobody shot back at that point in time. You know, that it was, I just cannot understand how you justify shooting somebody with their hands up as they're executing a vehicle. We've seen this many times in inner cities, and the police continually get away with it because they investigate themselves. They exonerate themselves. The legal system is fundamentally broken. Doesn't exist. We have to reclaim it. We have to reclaim juries. There's a lot of things that we can do. We do not start with vigilantism, no matter how much this upsets you. And I know that many of you are upset about this, but most of the people in America have not seen this. When we look at these comments, again, going back to Oregon Live, Lavoy Finicum's family had put out a statement about a month ago when he was killed, said he was executed in cold blood. They accuse the police agencies of deliberately misleading the public about what had happened. I mean, you can look at that video. You can look at what the FBI told people about that video, that low-resolution, silent aerial video, and then they put their own narrative over it, superimposed it to allow CNN and the New York Times, Washington Post, all the mainstream media to come up with their own lying narrative. Yeah, they did try to deceive people. And she didn't back off of this. She said, my husband was murdered. And the attorney for Emmett Bundy said, I'm going to have to go back and reconsider all the conspiracy theories that I'd previously written off. Let me read you what Stuart Rhodes wrote on this article, where he talked to, and I read excerpts from the law, a veteran SWAT officer who went on the record and said, hey, well, let's just read the law. What is the Oregon State Police policy? And, of course, they used lethal force before they even started shooting. They started shooting at them before when they set up the blockade. That was lethal force. When they approached the lethal force blockade, which violated Oregon state policy, they began shooting at them. More use of lethal force against people that were not a threat to them. And Stuart Rhodes had this comment, basically the same thing that we had said before, but he says it very well. He says, it's clear the politicians, like the Oregon governor, the 2 senators, as well as political hacks within the Obama administration, were pushing for the FBI and the Oregon State Police to stop the virus of Finicum and the Bundy free speech from spreading. It was a political decision. There was no physical emergency, no threat. But there was clearly a political emergency and a political threat. And in the eyes of the political elite, they had to insist on preventing them from reaching that meeting in John Day where they were going to speak to 400 people and the sheriff of the county. Now, you know, one of the things that really gets the left's panties in a wad is the fact these guys had guns. And one of the things that we see in the charges against Clive and Bundy from the Bundy Ranch standoff, and I got to tell you, I was there. We saw what happened. We were there at the washout. We were there a couple of days before that happened, reporting on it. We have video. We watched it. I saw it with my own eyes, folks. And the FBI is lying in this Clive and Bundy indictment. It is a stack of lies. Calling it a conspiracy, saying they were brandishing weapons. You know, they can't stand for people to exercise their First and Second Amendments together. That is an assault on the federal government. It is an attempt to block whatever they want to do. And so that's what they charge you with, obstructing a federal officer in their duty, brandishing a weapon. You can't exercise the First and Second Amendment together or they will kill or jail you.
Alex Jones here with a message that could revolutionize health in this country. If we want to defeat the globalists, we have to understand they're using medical tyranny against us. But to get us into that globalist-controlled system, they want to make us unhealthy. The globalists spike our water with sodium fluoride, and they admit it causes massive increases in bone cancer, brain damage, and reduced IQs. The GMO crops have all been directly linked to reduced fertility, deformities in mammals across the board. We are all under attack because when we're operating from a healthy position of good food, natural food, clean water, and the nutrients and trace elements we need, our minds will be on fire. The powerful, creative human destiny will be unleashed. Going back about a year and a half ago, I began to learn about the incredible health effects of longevity products. Aaron Dykes lost 92 pounds. We're going to show you some before and afters. He began to hear the guest on my show a year and a half ago. He began to do his own research, and he implemented and had dramatic results. I'm doing the whole regimen, and I've lost 7 pounds in a week and a half. I'd lost 42. I quit doing it because I've never been in the habit of doing this, gained a few pounds back, and now raced 7 pounds in a week and a half.
It is impossible for your body to optimize its structure and function without 90 essential nutrients. There are 90 essential nutrients that your body needs. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 essential fatty acids. The sad fact of the matter here, however, is that even if you owned 100 acres of organic farmland and had the best organic food in the world and only ate your stuff, you would still be deficient in nutrients because the nutrients that your body needs are not present in the food. They're not there. They are not all there. So unless you are supplementing with effective, efficient, absorbable nutritional supplements appropriate for your body weight, it's only a matter of time until something breaks.
Now look, somebody's got to be number one, and there's a reason why Wallach's therapeutics are so unbelievably effective. There's a reason. It's not magic and pixie dust. It's this. This book Wallach wrote took 12 years, $25 million. It's in the Smithsonian. It's a national treasure. Doc did 26,000 autopsies. 10 million blood chemistries. That's a lot of work. When you do this much old-fashioned, boots on the ground, reality-based research, and then you follow it up with decades of clinical application, you're going to get a clue. And that's why Wallach's therapeutics is so unbelievably effective, and that's why the longevity family of nutritional supplements is so unbelievably effective. It's not even in the same classification of nutritional supplements as any other company. This is not USANA, folks. This is not Herbalife. This is science-based, clinically verified, new-fashioned medical nutrition brought to you by the superstar of holistic medicine in the world, Dr. Joel Wallach.
But Ted Anderson's dad didn't know who he was. He got him on Beyond Tangy Tangerine, OsteoFX, and essential fatty acids, and in a few months knew who he was, could go fishing. His dad was back. The rot holes in his skin healed.
Now you can support Alex Jones and InfoWars and support you and your family's health, vitality, and well-being at the same time. Shop antiagingultra.com for all your natural nutritional needs. Antiagingultra.com is an official InfoWars team member. Remember, it's one-stop shopping for all your natural nutritional needs at antiagingultra.com.